Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of year for your favorite game show, Minnesota Vikings free agents. Keep them or let them go. 2018 Offseason edition, where I, your host, JOZ, will take a look at your soon-to-be Vikings free agents. Our first three free agents are exclusive right free agents, meaning as long as the Vikings give them an offer, they'll stay in Minnesota. The first which is the most unknown Viking on the roster. He joined the roster late in the year due to an injury. Long snapper Jeff Overbaugh. At 24, Overbaugh filled in at long snapper and didn't have a bad snap all year. Expect him to come back and at least compete for the 2018 long snapper in camp. Keep him. Next is another not well-known Viking, Mac Brown, a 26-year-old running back with only 8 career carries at 3.6 average and no carries as a Viking. No reason to even invite him to camp. Let him go. Lastly, the Vikings backup safety Anthony Harris. One of the absolute best backup safeties in the NFL. Not much of a drop-off, if any, when Harris comes in, ending the 2017 season with 17 tackles, 1 pass defense, and 1 big forced fumble. A very easy choice. Keep him. Moving on, we have the upcoming unrestricted free agents. Players under this label will warrant more money, as their value will have to be at the same level as their peers playing at the same level. First off is one of the longest tenured Vikings, Joe Berger. A backup interior lineman for the Vikings for many years, turned starter in 2014, and has been a lock for the Vikings and offensive line ever since. The answer is easy to keep him, but at this age, at 35, Berger seems to be looking towards retirement. The next Viking was required in a trade from the Seahawks right before the season for a 7th round pick and never lived up to it. Tremaine Brock. Brock has shown flashes of great ability in the pass game, 5 interceptions in 2013, but he couldn't barely get on the field in 2017, and when he did, he got burnt more than undergrads on spring break. The Vikings may give him a minimum deal to compete for a spot in camp, but let's draft someone instead. Let him go. The next Viking was required when the Vikings sent Gerald Hodges to the 49ers. Nick Easton. The starting left guard all season until he suffered an injury in week 12. Easton has the versatility to play all 3 interior line positions, but don't expect him to ever play at anywhere near Pro Bowl level. But he will continue to be an okay starter, so let's keep his price low. Keep him. Next is a Minnesota native, Michael Lloyd. A former 1,000-yard receiver in 2013 with 5 touchdowns was less of a factor than Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. Only 10 catches for 78 yards and he won't be missed. Let him go. Next Viking is more inconsistent than my view count. Kai Forbath. Kai started shaky but ended the year with a solid 32 out of 38 and 34 out of 39 PATs, which is pretty much his career average. Looking for the Vikings to bring another young kicker into compete in camp, but it's a tough to improve. Keep him. Next is the Vikings 2017 starting defensive tackle, Tom Johnson. Johnson was brought in 2014 to back up Sharif Floyd and played great as a backup. Once Sharif got hurt and Johnson played, his production dropped, going from 12 sacks in his first 2 years to only 4 the last 2 years. With your little Johnson in his shadow, with his 33-year-old body slowing down, let him go. The next Viking followed Zimmer from Cincinnati, Emmanuel Lemur. Lemur has backed up Barring Kendricks his whole time in Minnesota. Although his numbers don't jump off the table, he does have the athletic ability Zimmer loves at linebacker. Don't see him being too expensive. Keep him. Next is one of the best playmakers on the Vikings offense, Jerick McKinnon. Jet almost got 1,000 total yards and total 5 touchdowns in 2017, playing behind Latavius Murray for most of the year. With Dalvin Cook returning and Murray locked up in a fairly expensive contract, Jet would most likely want to go somewhere where he could get more playing time. Unless the Vikings can trade Murray, then sorry Jet, let him go. The next Viking is one of the most incredible athletes in the NFL. Currently the second oldest player in the league, Terrence Newman. 42 career interceptions on a borderline Hall of Fame career. Newman has followed Zimmer his whole career. At 39, Newman at the very least is like having another coach on the field, as he's helped Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes immensely. Already saying he wants to play one more season. Expect Newman to come to training camp. But does he have the speed to make the 53-man roster? For now, keep him. Next was a player that never got a chance because of injury. Bishop Sankey. With about 200 NFL carries at only 25 years old, Sankey could be a cheap replacement for McKinnon if he comes back after his injury, or at least a camp body. Keep him. For as special as this kid is on special teams, he's really special on defense. Marcus Sherrills has been the Vikings special teams specialist since 2010, still ranked number 1 according to Pro Football Focus as an all-around returner. Sherrills shows value on special teams but couldn't score a single touchdown in 2017, but no value at all on defense with only 6 tackles to show on the year. The Vikings do not have enough room on the roster for a guy that only saving grace is great hands returning punts. Let him go. Next is the Vikings' most versatile backup lineman, Jeremiah Sirles. Sirles was awful 2 years ago in filling in at tackle, but last year he looked like an average backup lineman, especially since he can play every position except for center. Bring him back at cheap deal. Keep him. Lastly, oh boy, the biggest story in the entire NFL. The trio of Vikings free agent quarterbacks. All 3 are showing reasons to want them, and all 3 have reasons to not want them. Which one will stay? Or will it be a brand new guy? First, the quarterback that started most of the games in 2017 and was in MVP talks late in the year. Case Keenum. Far and away a career year for Case, posting career highs across the board, highlighted by his 22-7 touchdown to interception ratio. But he showed throughout the year he's not good enough to win games, but not bad enough to lose games either. Love the miracle pass, but good luck in Denver. Let him go. Next, our opening day starter, Sam Bradford. Bradford has been known throughout his entire career as a quarterback with great arm talent, but has less leg strength than Stephen Hawking. Maybe they'll make him super cheap, but not likely. Let him go. Lastly, the most savage player on the Vikings.
I'm a savage.
Teddy. I know you're a savage.
I'm a savage.
Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy has the most poise of all 3 Vikings quarterbacks and has the most room to grow, only being at the age of 25. Statistically, is the best quarterback the Vikings have and will most likely be the cheapest as well. Keep him. Oh boy, we made it through. So let's take a quick look back of who stays and who gets the boot out of town. Now can look over the list of who we keep first. We keep Jeff Overball for at least a camp body and to compete in training camp. Anthony Harris. Joel Berger, although he will probably retire, so he won't have a choice there. Nick Easton, Emmanuel Lamur, Kai Forbath, but I do think we'll bring in competition. Terrence Newman, but the chance he gets cut in training camp. Bishop Sankey, and for at least a camp body, maybe will be able to be our 3rd running back. Jeremiah Sirles, and our quarterback will be Teddy Bridgewater. Who gets the boot? Running back we got out of nowhere, Mac Brown, Tremaine Brock, Michael Floyd, Tom Johnson, Jerick McKinnon, Marcus Sherrills, Case Keenum, and Sam Bradford. So there we have it for this year's Minnesota Vikings free agents. Keep them or let them go. The 2018 offseason is here. These are the players who will stay, who will go. Give me your thoughts in the comments. We see you guys next year.